get this bad boy running. It's been long enough. I'm excited. It turns out this thing's actually a 330. That's probably why it ran so good the first day I rode it. Yeah, the guy previously had the case covers chromed. He also polished the center cases. I haven't really shined the center cases up too much yet other than cleaning them. But overall, the chrome was in beautiful shape. I had an old Max water pump cover I've been hoarding for about 13 years. Finally put it on something. Yeah, let's get to assembly. You're such a good wifey.
I know.
Getting my frame rubbers all minted out. Yeah, the joys of building a used bike. Gotta replace everything. You guys might remember in the last video, I was talking about making a steering stem. Now, I didn't go too crazy and over gusset this steering stem, because if I do lawn dart this bike, I don't want this old 40-year-old frame, let's call it 37-year-old frame, to break. Even though we have the gusset kit, I still want to protect the integrity of the frame if we do lawn dart it. So I did not overbuild the stem, but we added some anti-vibe handlebar mounts using CRF style anti-vibe mounts. So we've got the nice billet cap on here. These are also adjustable forward or back for your offset if you want to bring your handlebars farther back or farther forward. And we've got some anti-vibe rubbers up on the top. And yeah, so that should be pretty nice. A lot nicer than the stock steering stem that was already bent. So let's get to it. Yeah, like I said in one of my posts on Instagram, I always ran the old school aluminum fin guards where you basically just rivet these little aluminum fins to your stock setup, which it worked, but it was kind of a big pain in the ass. So this is cool. It's pretty affordable and easy to replace. I'm happy with it. Now I'm just gonna get the brake line mounted. Kind of left everything loose, but that's gonna add some serious protection on there. Of course, on the radiator scoop, got the OG ones that I've been hoarding for 10 years. I'll show you guys how that's gonna look. So we've got the nice radiator scoop with the radiator guard. This is already drilled for the Polaris Predator bottle, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that back on. These came off one of my, I think it was a Lone Star CRF hybrids. I honestly, if I like parts, I keep them forever. It's kind of funny, like the rear motor mount, the head stay, it's all from one of my original 250R builds, and I ended up sadly parting it out. When you own a business and you're trying to grow, you're basically always flipping your bikes to get to the next stage. So yeah, super happy with it. You can see we've got the radiator scoops installed with our new guard. We've already sold a few of these, so I appreciate you guys that have been ordering. This Predator overflow bottle installed in here. I always like these. I like being able to look down and see my coolant level if I'm overheating or if it's spraying out, of course. Just a nice little Motion Pro hose. Now I reused all of the hoses from the previous build. I also went ahead, made my own intake. I had to do something because the stock air box is not really going to fit too well with the clearance we have on the carburetor. I also don't want to try to reuse the old boot, so we did a performance intake on this to go along with the 330 kit. I just still got to make a bracket to mount it. I'm possibly going to go off the side of the frame here and get it mounted. I've seen some where you can go with a strap around them, but we're going to make a nice bracket on this and get that all solid. Now on this side over here, I went with the TRX250R brakes, and I'm going to mount the brake resi up here, so this is a little bit different. We did go ahead and remove all the chrome from the exhaust. We basically sandblasted it down, and then we actually used the Scotch-Brite wheel and kind of cleaned it all up. This thing was pretty nasty, but I've got the silencer repacked. Everything looks good. It fit decent. It's in pretty decent shape for the age. But yeah, coming together. Yeah, and then for the Nerf bars, we went with the AC Pro pegs. They've got a nice heel guard kind of built in. We've got the net on here. It does free float through the foot peg, which is kind of interesting, but I don't really see a problem with it. I'm pretty happy with it. Everything fit pretty decent. And yeah, I'm gonna end up making some custom brackets here to wrap around the frame to tie that in. It's actually pretty strong. I don't really think they're actually necessary. But yeah, we'll get that dialed in, and yeah, let's get on to checking out the plastic, getting the seat all tuned up, and see how this thing looks. So that was fun wrestling with this seat. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out though. Forworks always does a killer job on seat covers. The foam was actually in decent shape still, so I just reused it. The pan is not super pretty, but this is all gonna get covered up. What I was happy about is all these studs were in really good shape. Now on the 86, 87, there's a bracket that goes in the front. And of course there's a bracket in the rear. Now we're gonna upgrade this to our billet seat bracket. The stock one's pretty flimsy, it's made of steel. We've been selling these for years, so I'll show you guys how to install that. So the first thing I'm gonna do, get out your smart water, use it as a shim. All right, so we've got the plastic sitting on there. Now to install the billet seat bracket, simply just going to slide it over your studs, just like that. Now I don't typically Loctite these, but I'm going to do it this time. I do not want to have any issues, so I'm doing one little baby drop of Loctite on each of these, just to catch some of the threads. Cool setup. So we make these pins on our CNC lathe, and these plates are laser cut, and then we drill and do all that fun stuff on the milling machine. Now this piece here, these are always bent, so I already straightened this up. I scanned this thing in. I'm actually going to try to make one of these out of billet. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and install it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. See the billet seat bracket poking through. We're gonna use some hairpins on here to hold that on. See how that's installed on there. Like I said, I'm gonna be trimming these up so they clear the Nerf bars. I'd like to have it, say, about an inch above it. It's gonna let the fender kind of kick back and it's not gonna be rubbing. Overall though, super happy with these Nerf bars from AC. Glad we went with them. Bumper fit pretty decent too. You're gonna notice the grab bar kind of sweeps downward. That makes it easier to pick it up, which is pretty cool. We've got a number plate mount on here. Again, just glad I went with AC. I've been running them for years, and I've switched to a couple different brands over the years, but yeah, everything turned out pretty good. Do that on both sides. I'm just going to use a pair of tin snips. A little rubbing alcohol. I'm so used to cutting plastic on the trikes, it just seems natural to do some trimming on these. Alright, let's put it back on. See how it fits. Try not to scratch stuff. Some sticky grommets we got there. Not bad. This one's kind of bent up a little bit, but they'll settle. Look pretty good. Cool. Yeah, the Nerf bars are not equal either. So that one's a touch higher than that one. If I wanted to get super picky, I would cut this here and maybe rotate this bar up like a ½ inch. It's slightly down on one side, but I'm really honestly not too worried about it. It's a hand-built part. I'm happy with it. Yeah, then like I said, the grab bar is lower, so it's super easy to grab onto. Cool. Well, it's coming together, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the front plastic. And I've got a nice got a nice Forworks carbon hood. This is another one from another build I had. This thing is in absolute mint shape. Time to use it. Thought I already opened these up. Must have been the other one. I just love that red. If you guys are curious about the red we're using, it should be on the tag. It's the Fighting Red. That's the part number of the plastic. Sick. Pretty cool. It's definitely nice to get that off the toolbox and start finally putting it together. All right. Let's see how awesome that's going to look. Such a clean setup. Recommend putting some fender washers on these bolts so you can spread the load out. It's kind of crazy like how these are made. I mean, you can see these these brackets were kind of glued on or epoxied on. So it's definitely a little bit fragile, but the look of the carbon fiber is like unreal. If I was going to be racing this one and just getting roosted all the time, I'd probably just get a cheap plastic hood. But this is going to be more of a ride it once in a while, stare at it, possibly sell it, who knows. We'll see what I do with this here quad. If somebody wants to make me a really good offer, I might consider, or I'll build you one. How about that? That looks cool. Definitely super excited about doing a frame, doing the billet frame. If you guys haven't seen the video on the billet chassis, definitely check it out. I'm about halfway through the designing. I'm very, very picky when I do stuff, so it takes me a little bit longer. Get that towards the front. These are slotted holes, so I'm just kind of tweaking them. Okay. Okay. I still think, arguably, this is probably the best looking quad ever made. I love the whole look of it. I think Honda just did an amazing job back in the 80s. Everything from the indents on the side to just the overall shape of the plastic. I still think in 2024, this is the best quad ever made. It's just how I feel. I definitely had the most fun riding these over the years. But yeah. All right, let's stick it up on the, we'll stick it on the quad. I'm gonna pull this back off. We're gonna stick it on and kind of get a little preview for you guys. See what it looks like. Underneath here. So we've got these handy little brackets. They get bolted there. And it's gonna run up to the plastic, and they already pre-drilled a hole. And I'm just gonna use a washer and a nut on the backside. It's cool. All right guys, I know we jumped the gun, we already went to the plastic, but I really wanted to give you guys a full preview of how this 250R is gonna look. The next and last step that I have to do, I'm gonna go through the wiring harness, get some of that stuff cleaned up, get everything finalized, get the brakes bled, get the fuel tank on, and get it started up in the next video. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. See you guys in the next one.